So I want to tell you what ChristLife has done at my parish. We're in the Diocese of Baltimore on the western side of it, in a little town called Iamsville. Um, so our parish currently is about 2,000 families strong and growing. And we've been offering the ChristLife series to the parish since 2015. And we've done so every year since then, except during the 2020 to 2023 years, which you probably would guess why. COVID kind of shut things down. So we resumed again this past 2024 in January. So we're this year now in 2025, we've started again with Discovering Christ in January, and we're halfway through it at this point. So we've been doing so for that many years now in a row, and we've had 350 to 400 people go through the Discovering Christ and Following Christ and Sharing Christ courses. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what that's done to people in their lives, as well as the parish itself. Another person who was going through and had a lot of issues with her young life, where she had been very promiscuous, and wound up coming to know the Lord in the church, and then got married and was having a family, and wound up starting to reveal her early life to her husband, and it caused some friction and some issues. And they had heard about ChristLife at our parish, and they were from a neighboring parish, and decided to come. And they came and went through Discovering Christ, Following Christ, and Sharing Christ together. And they too had a healing of those issues that had happened with her and how it impacted their marriage. And during COVID, they had resumed back to the parish that they had originally come from. And recently, a year ago or so, the wife, her name is Susan, she wound up having a very serious health scare. And during that time, she almost lost her life. It was very close to death. The Lord worked, and she survived and is now quite healthy. But since then, she really felt that the Lord gave her a second chance, and she felt like he was saying to her, go back to St. Ignatius and volunteer to work on the ChristLife team there. And they did, and they are now on our team this year. And I have to tell you, the countenance on both Susan and her husband John is unbelievable. Tremendous peace, love, joy, and happiness that really wasn't there in the degree that it is today, and that she attributes it to the work the Lord did while she went through the ChristLife series at St. Ignatius a few years prior to that. This is the kind of thing that the Lord does. I also have several people that have come through the course over the years that were Protestant, had Protestant backgrounds. Two people in particular, a person named Lucy and another person named Cheryl, who came through after being Protestants for most of their adult lives. And they felt this calling to go to a Catholic church, and for different reasons. And they did, each individually. They didn't know one another. And they both wound up at our parish, and both of them saw announcements for Discovering Christ and Following Christ in the bulletin, and independently decided they should try that out and see what God was calling them to. Both came and had profound experiences of the love of God in their life in a personal way. They were open to the teaching of the church. And after having gone through the 3 courses, both of them decided to become Catholics. And they are, and both ultimately wound up volunteering to be on our team, helping serve during the ChristLife courses at the parish. And in fact, Lucy is the co-leader with me at this point in the parish, and it's incredible to see what God's done. These are the kinds of things that I see happen every single time we offer Discovering, Following, and Sharing Christ. People's lives changed. We'd have many successful men, businessmen and women who have come through and inevitably say, I have a hole in my heart. I'm missing something. I knew the Lord was calling me to come to this. And by the time they've completed, their lives have changed. They've come to a personal relationship with Jesus. And really, isn't that the key? Without that personal relationship with the Lord, it's so much harder to be his disciple. In fact, it's impossible to be his disciple, if you ask me. So, to sum up, what have we seen in our parish? What I can tell you from personal experience, because I started in 2015, so I've been through every single group all along the way. And what I've seen is people who have come to know the Lord in a profoundly personal way. I've seen people that were once, who would go once or twice a year, didn't go to the sacraments. These are the kinds of people that have come, and guess what? They're now going to Mass regularly, often daily, receiving the sacraments regularly, including confession, and their lives have changed, and they're great witnesses to what God's done. Many of that has occurred through going through the Discovering Christ courses. I've had people whose relationships have been healed. We've actually had some physical healings take place after people have been to the Lord and been prayed with. People have new meaning in their life. There's freedom from depression, anxiety, loneliness. These are all things that happen because of the way that the ChristLife courses are run, where you're in small groups and you build relationships and friendships. A whole sense of community has developed, even more so than we had at our parish. And people are volunteering left and right for ministries, to become extraordinary ministries, to be getting involved with the ChristLife team in Bible studies, helping out with OCIA, helping out with faith formation. I see so many of the people that have gone through the ChristLife courses that are the ones volunteering. It's really transformed our parish in a great way. I can't tell you how happy and wonderful it is to show up and see so many faces that you know every Sunday, and the joy on them is unmistakable. So I can't recommend highly enough what ChristLife's 3 courses, Discovering, Following, and Sharing Christ, will do